What's good, y'all? It's time for another Should You Summon, and here we go with our new banner, Ajax and Ardea 15x, as well as a very standard 2x and 2x with divines.
Our research begins.
Now, Ajax is obviously under a lot of criticism, especially if you pull a Lord and he ruins your Lord pity, which is also the first point. Ajax is boosted by 15x, so if you're pulling a Lord, Ajax's chances to be pulled are 15 times his normal one. And at the end of the day, people really normally aren't happy to pull an Ajax, and the reason is that outside of gear rate 1, he doesn't necessarily shine anywhere else. He has an absolutely unique range, don't get me wrong. He has a unique range, he's a fucking dragon, and he shoots fire. Those are all very good plus points. And then you have this ridiculous thing right here, which reduces magic res by 30%. Biggest magic res reduction, permanent in a Dolores tile range around him. So you know how Dolores does her attack buff. But honestly, that's about it. You can beat Gear Rate 1 without him. You can beat Gear Dungeon 1 without him. You can beat Arena without him. He's pretty much a bonus. But furthermore, he's an unnamed faction, and a lot of you might not even know this, or might know this, depends, right? That the unnameable factions can go with every other faction lord. So for example, right here, if you had hypothetically a Praetus, you could be running Ajax in his team. But yeah, honestly, that's about it. Ajax, if you get him outside of any raid ups, outside of anything, just from a normal legendary pull, you're going to be hyped, you're going to be happy. If you get him out of a 15x that also takes away your Lord raid, I wouldn't recommend. I really wouldn't recommend that to be the case. So, that leaves us with the girl of the hour, the main attraction, Ardea. Obviously big boobies, but that's not the important point. The important point is that she's overpowered. Ardea is ridiculously strong, and especially with this Gear Dungeon 2 that is ongoing now, she's obviously the very best choice for the bottom. But let me assure you, you can do the same thing with Volker. You do not need Ardea for Gear Dungeon 2. Where else is she gonna be ridiculous? Gear Rate 1, because she can one-shot the boss before he even moves. And Arena. And then obviously we can't forget also Immortal Codex. But, now comes the big but. Yeah, kind of big. So, the biggest problem here is there never, ever is a guarantee that you actually pull a legendary on Ancients. The only guarantees you have on Ancients is that after suffering 220 times, you'll be rewarded with the Lord. That is the only guarantee you have. You could be pulling 1,000 Ancients, and statistically it is possible for you to get absolutely nothing. For you to get absolutely nothing that even resembles an Ardea. For example, my most recent, I did 135 Ancients. And out of these 135 Ancients, I got one legendary that wasn't a Lord. And that's it. Right? Just one. And that's out of 135. So, I do not recommend pulling on this banner. I highly recommend you saving until the anniversary, because the anniversary has banger banners. For example, Voltron and a new unnameable unit. And then you have Praetus. And a new Arbiter unit, also never before shown. Besides, I guess we could briefly talk about her, because you see her in a very certain scenario, and that is right here. See her? Hammer Girl. She's the only one out of these that we're still missing, and Hammer Girl is going to come closer to the anniversary. So yeah, what is my tip to you? Don't get baited. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. And what is Demon's Gauntlet going to be? I don't know. We'll find out. Funny abomination frame. And we see each other in the next one. Peace. So as usual, we'll just start with the 2x on the legendary heroes. very simply, again, for any kind of account, pulling here isn't a mistake. Legendary heroes are the source of your power. Legendary heroes are the game changers. Legendary heroes are what carries you further. The earlier you are in the game, the more important is this banner, because accumulating legendaries is more important than summoning for 15x and walking away with absolutely nothing. So if you have some summons, summon here, but keep in mind, we are now away only 6 weeks. At most 6 weeks until anniversary. Okay, let's say 7. And the anniversary is going to be a banger, that's for sure. It's most likely going to be a 2x by 15x. And that's just the way it's going to go. And also, it's not going to be a bad legendary. It might even be a new one. The whole details aren't known yet, obviously. But just if you really want to, keep holding on, as well as Dahlia. Dahlia is going to come within the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4. I don't think they're going to save her until the anniversary. They're going to try to get a few summons out of you before they launch the anniversary. So that's that. Divines, use your Divines. Honestly, a Divine or 2x is just what you're supposed to do. Or hold them until anniversary and use them on a 2x and 15x. Resist the temptation, don't use Divines on a 15x. And yeah, onto the obviously most interesting banner, which is going to be Ajax and Ardea.